Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Joining BJ Rains today is KTVB Sports Director Jay Tust. Check him out on Twitter at KTVB Sports Guy and make sure to check out KTVB.com. Now here's Jay Tust and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? BJ Rains here. Jay Tust going to be along shortly. I started a minute early today because we got a ton to get to, and I got going before Jay was ready, so my fault, not Jay's, but he'll be here shortly. I am still in San Jose after Boise State basketball falls yesterday to Santa Clara. That was a rough one for them, but we got a ton to get to. It sounds like I'm coming in a little hot. Let me know if that sounds okay there. We'll move this down a little bit, but Boise State falling to Santa Clara yesterday. We're going to talk about that. We got Talon Green's NIL agent and what's going on there, coaching changes within the football program, the transfer portal, and some of the guys that are declaring for the NFL draft and just the roster in general. We got signing day, and we got our giveaway. We are giving away some cool stuff today. Excited about some of the giveaways and things that we're going to be doing here at Bronco Nation News. First, we want to tell you we're broadcasting from the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios. Make sure you check out more than one of their 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Perfect to pick up a couple for the holiday season. Here, our title sponsor, Rowpaint.com. BNN15 is that promo code. That's right, BNN15 is the promo code, and you can get 15% off the interior painting in your home this winter. So if you're looking on the fence about some of those projects in your house, don't wait any longer. Let Rowpaint.com, the professionals, take care of it for you. And again, BNN15, make sure you use that promo code. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. Do what the Rains family did. We found our vehicle online. We found the one we wanted, went in and test drove it, and we were on our way. Process is so easy, and we're so appreciative of Lithia Ford Boise. Make sure you check them out, lithiafordboise.com. And, of course, Idaho Central Credit Union as well, ICCU.com. The easiest bank, friendliest bank I've ever worked at worked with, and you can find a location pretty much on every corner, which is nice too, but you don't really need to go inside. Once you sign up for your account, everything can be done from your computer, your phone. I think in the year plus we've been with them, I've gone into the bank like 2 times, so you can do it all right from your phone. It's so easy. And again, we're appreciative of them. Make sure you check out Idaho Central Credit Union. Jay Tust joins us. As I said, we're talking Boise State. We got a lot going on. It's Friday, and it's the final show of 2022. So, Jay, I started a little early because we got a ton to get to, and that's not on you. So Jay is with us. And, final show of 2022 for Bronco Nation News. And we'll have some coverage of the basketball game in Reno next week. But otherwise, going to give our co-hosts a week off, and I'll take some time to be with family, and we'll recharge for 2022. But, Jay, we're kind of wrapping this up on a Friday. There a lot happened this week, whether it be signing day, the basketball team, all the comings and goings with the roster on the football team, whether it be transfers, signing day, guys going pro. You got some coaching changes within the football team as well. You got Talon Green's NIL agent going off. We're going to give away some cool stuff today as well. So we got a ton going on, man. How's it going?
It's good. It has been kind of an eventful week. Usually the week after the season is a little quieter, I would say. But now with early signing day, it just isn't the case anymore. And it was really funny because somebody over at KTVB asked me, "Is this early for signing day?" I was like, "Actually, it's a little late for early signing day. Usually it's like a little earlier." But
Like the third or fourth Wednesday of the month, or however they
Yeah,
figure it out.
yeah. But either way, we knocked it all out. It's all done, and now we wrap things up for the most part prior to Christmas. I was actually kind of appreciative of some of the coaching news and all that stuff, so that we're not worrying or scrambling about how we're going to fit it into, covering that on Christmas or anything like that. Plus, it's just a better idea, BJ, because nobody wants to, there are less people working and watching on those holidays, right? So get it out of the way. I know it's like sentimental, do it with family. We'll celebrate somehow with them either before or after you do it. So signing day announcements and all that stuff, it's hard to get that much attention when it happens on a Christmas.
It was still back-to-back days of announcements at like 5 and 5:30 p.m.
Yeah,
if we want to be immediate.
I'll take it though, man. Hey, you know me, my outside of football season, that's like noon for me, right?
Yep. Yeah, I will say I usually, obviously we have our pre-show meeting usually about 5:30 in the morning, Jay, to get ready for the show each day. But we had so much to get to today that I actually took some notes. Usually we just kind of say let's see what's going to happen for 30 minutes, but I actually wrote down like 6 things I wanted to get to today. And by the way, Jay, I risked my life yesterday. I was trying to find somewhere to buy an energy drink. The hotel didn't have very good choices. They were also overpriced here at the Marriott San Jose. And I walked about 4 blocks last night, about 8 p.m. in San Jose, which proved to be 4 blocks in the wrong direction in San Jose. But long story short, look at this bad boy that I found out of the archives.
Oh, look at a blast from the past.
Out of the archives from the ESPN Boise days. This used to be the can. Now I think it might be a newer version because it has like the hashtag now for the tangerine, mango, guava. So I don't know if they're bringing back a retro one or if it had that and I forgot it. But when I saw this can right away, I was immediately thought of our show because we'd take turns bringing one each other for our 9 a.m. show back in the day.
That's too funny.
Tangerine, mango, guava, strawberry. And still to this day, I rock that one. It's a different can now, but that's still my favorite one. So I thought I'd do it. Let's start with that. Let's start with basketball. They obviously had the most recent game yesterday. They fall 73-58 to Santa Clara. They were winning at halftime. There was kind of a fluky 3-pointer where the guy fell down, stood up, and hit a shot right at the buzzer, and then it seemed like Santa Clara just kind of carried that momentum right into the second half. It was a 40-20 run, basically, starting with that 3-pointer to end the game. Boise State outscored 37-20 in the second half, and we are going to hear a clip in a minute here from Leon Rice, but he basically just said the guys kind of ran out of gas. It's been a long, grueling kind of preseason, a lot of travel, and you didn't have Marcus Shaver Jr. in this game. You lost Sadon Ganga early in the game. Kobe Young was coming off an ankle sprain. Najee Smith was sick, and they just didn't have a very deep bench in this game or a lot of guys they could turn to. I mean, he said, you never probably would have expected Jace Whiting to be playing 33 minutes in a road game this early in the season. So it just was, obviously, I think he said it was just one of those games. And so a tough loss, but I mean, now you look and Santa Clara is up to 100 or 101, I think, at Ken Palm. So it's a win you would have liked to have had, but I don't think it's, at least to me, some devastating loss for the tournament. But it is still a tough way to go into the break here and puts a little bit of a damper on what they did in conference or non-conference play. But 10-3 as they reset for league play starting next Wednesday.
I think you said this earlier, right? Like, when they went out on the road to play Texas A&M and St. Louis, you kind of needed one of those, right? And they got both. So maybe this is the little area you could slip up. And this was kind of like the sleepy game on. I'm not saying the way that Boise State approached it. I'm just saying like the way that we probably look at things. This kind of was the sleepy game in the non-conference schedule, right? Like as you mentioned, they're deep into the non-con. We're a couple days prior to Christmas. A lot of those guys are getting out right after the game to try to get home for just a couple of days before they have to come back. And probably on Christmas, right? And is that right, BJ? They're gonna practice on Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah. So they'll get back and they'll practice on Christmas and get ready for Nevada on the 28th. So yeah, it was just kind of, and it's a tough game. It's not like it's a super easy game. But on top of all that, it's funny because just kind of looking at in notes and sending out a tweet yesterday, it's like Boise State was only the second true road game that they've played this season. But they've also been all the way across the country. They've been down into Texas a couple of times. Like they have had like a challenging schedule, not just in terms of opposition, but in terms of travel in their non-conference. So even though that's really only their true second road game of the season, they've been away from Boise for about half of their non-conference schedule. So just a tough one. And I think I saw you tweet out something that Leon said yesterday. Hey, they were also just kind of the tougher team. These are kind of the losses that Boise State, I feel like, has responded really well to over the last couple of years, where, Leon can now point to this game and they'll have their toughness tested, or they had it tested. Now they can prove how tough they are moving forward. And they didn't have Marcus Shaver Jr. too. We got to reiterate that.
And you're going to hear Leon say that in just a second, but he goes, I don't think Gonzaga would want to come out down here without Drew Timme. Like he said, they're a good team and they play well at home. And it wasn't a huge crowd, but it was like an energetic crowd, those that came. So there actually was a little bit of energy in the building. And once Santa Clara got going, hitting some threes, it seemed like the ball, the basket looked way bigger for them. And they were just playing with confidence and letting it fly. And it reminded me of some of those Nevada games with like Cambridge and Sherfield, just shooting it from anywhere. And you had no chance of stopping them. And they got rolling and they couldn't be stopped. And then Boise State started turning the ball over and missed some shots. I mean, Boise State only had 1 3-pointer in the second half, had 5 in the first half. It is what it is. But as Derek points out, Boise State's still top 60 in the net, Ken Pom. The problem is that Nevada game is going to be sneaky tough too. I mean, they're actually obviously ranked better than Santa Clara. You are hoping you're going to have Shaver back for that game. But, if you had told Leon Rice, you'd be 10-3. He said, I'd take that. He goes, I'd set a lot of court for that. But the way it happened maybe was a little different in terms of the games they won. You win your 4 quote unquote biggest games: St. Louis, Texas A&M, Colorado, Washington State, although some of those teams aren't helping much. They've had some bad losses here recently. You lose, to South Dakota State. That one's not looking good because they're now under 200. They've continued to struggle, but Charlotte's at 108 and Santa Clara's at 100. So, I mean, you've basically almost got 2 top 100 losses. So, it is what it is. The last one it stinks for them that it's going into the break. They have to sit there for a couple of days, and certainly 11-2 and a 10-game winning streak would have been better than, the way it is, 10-3. But like I said, Jay, especially after they lost that first game, and then really when they lost to Charlotte to fall to 1-2, if we said, okay, in a month from now, you'll be 10-3 going into league play, I think they would have taken that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And I think you also look at yesterday's game, BJ, and, one thing that I think like the areas where, I don't know if they struggled, they kind of struggled, I guess. Didn't have their typical success. Let's say it that way.
Rebounding. Yeah.
I mean, like normally Boise State, like they're one of the best. They're not like the tallest team in the country, although they're taller this year than they have been in the past. But they got out rebounded yesterday, and that is such like you look at Leon Rice's time at Boise State, especially the last few years, when the Broncos get on the glass and they win that battle, more often than not they win games. And yesterday they lost that battle.
Defending the 3-point line.
Are you looking like?
I told you at 5:30. I was taking notes when you were talking at 5:30 this morning, man. During the.
I mean, how many times is Boise State going to give up 10 threes this year? Like I'm going to guess not very many. And so I mean that's an area where they were one of the best in the country at defending the 3. And yesterday Santa Clara was able to knock down 10. So and then on top of all that, Boise State only had seven assists as a team, right? And they were missing their facilitator and Marcus Shaver Jr.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the things that the shortcomings of yesterday's game, I think they're confident that those are things that they're going to do better, can do better, have done better, and maybe you take a little bit of a glass half full out of it in the sense that, as you brought up, I mean, you ran Jace Whiting out there for 33 plus minutes yesterday. I mean that's
nothing against Jace Whiting. Nothing against Jace Whiting. He looks like he's ready to contribute, but I don't think that was in the preseason plan going into the year.
He's a true freshman coming off a mission and hasn't played a lot of basketball in the 2 years prior. So for him to come in and he only turned the ball over twice in 33 minutes. You mentioned Kobe Young coming off an injury, goes for 7 and 4 off the bench. If they're getting 7 and 4 from Kobe Young off the bench in Mountain West Conference play, that's going to be good. So,
and again, if they have a healthy Marcus Shaver Jr., they probably win that game. So I mean, it is what it is.
He averages about 15 points. They lost by about 15 points.
Yep, and the tournament committee and all that does take that into effect. You were without your best player. They're supposed to when you lost the game. Let's hear a quick bite from Leon. I say quick, but it's about 3 minutes. I think Leon was pulling a Brian Harsin yesterday. He just started talking and didn't stop. But here's the opening statement, I guess, as you will, synopsis of the game and non-conference play from Leon Rice.
I think we just got worn down a little bit. Being down a soldier when, I told the media, I told the radio, like, there's not many teams, including Gonzaga, that would want to play at Santa Clara without their best player, because this is a good team. And, I'm sure Mark wouldn't want to come down here without Timmy, because beware, this is when they get shooting, they're moving the ball well, they got all the pieces, they got size, they got physicality, they're well coached. We were going to have to play a great game, and we played a great first half. I mean, we were sharp. And I don't know, I think we ran out of gas. Naj is a little sick, and he was showing signs of that. And, it's just life on the road. It's tough. You got to, especially against good teams. And this was like a precursor to the conference road. So you need all your guns firing to get those wins in conference. And that's pretty much what this game was. So I was really proud of the way we started the game and the way we approached it. But like I said, it seemed like their team had a little more energy in that second half than we did, and there was not a lot of answers for me to shuffle the deck on the bench. We tried to do it and tried to get everybody out there a little bit, see if some stuff could come, and Sada goes down and gives up a 3 when he sprains his ankle, and just stuff like that. It was one of those nights where you get some bad luck on your side, and but to surmise the preseason, if you would have told me I was going to have to go no shave December and we can wind up 10-3, I'd probably take it out of court, settle out of court for it. But it's there's some benefits to it. We got a lot of guys experience that maybe they wouldn't have got, and I might have had a tighter rotation instead of I got everybody a chance. I got everybody some looks to see what they can bring to this team, and I think I have a better feel for that. And then, you go into league, we come back, and I told the guys, I got competitive guys. We're going to hold on to this till midnight, and then we move on and enjoy our families for Christmas and compartmentalize this. But when we come back, we play with a passion and a hunger, because we don't like losing. And I got a bunch of guys in that locker room that hate that. So, I had to kind of make sure they enjoy your family, go do that. That's what Christmas is for. We're going to do some stuff with our toy drive stuff. And then we'll close the book on that, and we'll come back and we're going to get after it. And we're going to get our toughness, and we're going to get our competitiveness, and because that's what it's going to take. Our margin for error is very, very slim. And there's good teams in this league. And we start with a great one at Nevada. Yeah. So we're going to have to go play an A+ game to get, to deal with them. So I got competitive, tough guys. Just got to get them all healthy. So maybe a couple days hopefully helps. And away we go.
Well, there he is, Leon Rice, kind of summing up the game and the non-conference portion of the schedule. And Jay, as we we'll wrap up basketball portion of the talk here, but it's not going to be like the previous years where you got 5-6 gimme games in the league this year. It may not be as top heavy as it's been, but I mean, you look at Boise State, and the worst team left on their schedule is Ken Pom number 151, San Jose State. I guess 170 Air Force, but I mean, you used to have those teams in the 300 kind of bogging down your stats and some easy games, and they don't have that, man. You look down the projected scores of Ken Pom, and a lot of these games are single-digit games the rest of the way. I mean, it's going to be a battle here for the next 18 games.
Yeah, last year, like when San Jose State or Air Force, like those guys were like in the 270s or 80s, like kind of down near the bottom of the country where
it used to be New Mexico, San Jose, Air Force. There used to be 6-7 games where you're playing terrible team. Yeah. Not anymore.
Yeah, and those were the cases where even wins would hurt you, right? So, it's last year they go into conference play 9-4. This year they go in at 10-3. So I know they're not riding a winning streak like they were last year at this point in time, but technically they do go into conference play in a better position to make a run at the NCAA tournament, not only because of their record, because their net rankings and where they are in the Ken Pom, all that stuff suggests that they're just in a better place now than they were a year ago. Can they go 15-3 in Mountain West play? When you look around the league this year, man, if they do that, they need to put a statue of Leon Rice outside of Extra Mile Arena, because that would be no joke once again this year. I'm confident in the direction of this team. especially if they get Marcus Shaver Jr. back. They've shown that they're a tough team. They've had tough wins already this year. I think they rest up, they see their families, they get back to Boise. Hopefully Shave is obviously ready to go against Nevada, and the run back up the mountain begins. So yeah, that is a good point. San Jose State did beat Santa Clara, so that should show you that San Jose State, they're tougher than they've been in the past.
I would say maybe, I don't know. It depends what wins they are. It says how many wins in conference do you need to make the tournament. I mean, are you beating San Diego State twice and Utah State twice? That might give you a little bit of cushion. But
if you're just like throwing a number out there, I still think 14, like that's a number that puts you in contention, right?
Yep, you'd be at 7 losses. Then if you lose in the conference tournament, 8, which is still enough for a mid-major team. You really don't want to have much more than 8 losses probably going into Selection Sunday. I mean, that's what Boise State ended up having last year, but that was kind of a crazy run. But, so we'll see. Obviously, it gets going next week. But like you said, Jay, everything, Ken Pom net, the record, everything is actually above where it was this time last year. Now, can you expect the crazy run like you said? Probably not. But as Leon Rice was telling us yesterday after the game, I mean, it may be where 4 losses wins the league this year, 4 or 5 losses. I mean, it may be a league where everybody's beating up on each other. And if you win the league,
the league is so competitive from top to bottom this year. I think that there are going to be those games, and you hope Boise State can avoid them. But there is going to be that Air Force, upsetting New Mexico in Albuquerque to give them. That's going to happen. I mean, I'm not saying that specific game's going to happen, but there's going to be an example where something like that happens a few times around the league this year. And if you're Boise State and you can just avoid that type of game, I think you're going to be okay.
Hey, if you're looking for a new job, how about Transportation Compliance Service? Check them out, transcomservice.com. You can get in the trucking industry. It's a booming profession right now, and I'm talking the big rig on your screen, the Amazon truck in your neighborhood, everything in between. Transcomservice.com. They'll get all the permits and things to get you out there on the road towing that first load in no time. If you're looking for a new dentist, how about Dr. Miner, Boise Dentistry Co., locations across the Treasure Valley. Do what the Raines family did. Make the switch to Boise Dentistry Co., full family dentistry. They got all the technology to have the videos playing for the kids and things to keep them occupied. Check them out at BoiseDentistryCo.com. If you're looking for a lower rate on your business insurance, I know we got a lot of business owners that watch here. United Commercial Insurance, a local company in the Treasure Valley, but they can help you in 44 states around the country with those business policies for the insurance. So UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Give them a call, 229-822. A quick call could save you hundreds of dollars at United Commercial Insurance. They make business insurance easy. Ridley's Family Markets, they got that new app. Go download the Ridley's app. Help support the sponsors. Download the Ridley's app, and you get huge, significant savings compared to just walking into the store. So if you go use that CUNA location or Middleton, Star, Weiser, wherever you're at, and Twin Falls area, they got a number of stores. You use that app, you get big discounts and savings. So shopridleys.com, find the location near you, and go download that Ridley's app. The blueandorangestore.com, free shipping, any order over $40 online. If you're looking for that last-minute Christmas gift, go on to the Boise Town Square Mall, the second floor, next to the Pro Image store there, and the Blue and Orange store has all your Boise State gear, the coaches' sideline apparel, the new Nike gear, the NIL shirts, ridiculously a large selection of hats as well. So check them out, the blueandorangestore.com, and Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley, BauscherRealEstate.com. No home is too big or too small for Matt Bauscher. We'll be starting the Matt Bauscher Show back up here regularly on Wednesdays in January once conference play gets going. But check them out, BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, Jay, we had 5 things on the list, and we're at 22 minutes, and we've only got 1 item in, so we got to pick up the pace here. But I do want to mention and spend a little bit of time talking about Talon Green and his NIL agent and that situation. While we're talking, I'm going to put the tweet up on the screen here. But during the basketball game, this kind of popped up, and I will give the quick backstory on this for folks that aren't aware. Dirk Cutter actually sent a text message to Mike Prater and basically was half joking but half serious. He said, the last thing I told Talon Green on the way out the door is that we're going to get him an NIL deal for his braids because to do his braids, his mom usually does them. She's not in Boise. She can't get up there and help, and it costs, I guess, almost $100 every couple of weeks to have to get that done. And I guess that Dirk Cutter did tell, and I'm serious about this, Dirk Cutter told Talon Green on his way out the door that he was going to try to help him. That's ridiculous. You don't have a sponsor for that. Let's help you out. And so he texted Mike Prater and said, hey, my last act as OC as I was walking out the door was telling Talon Green, I'm going to try to help him out here. You know a lot of business owners. You got a big platform. Can you help us out? So they go on the air and start talking about this and mention what Dirk Cutter said and mention the possibility of trying to find a local business owner that's willing to do an NIL deal with him for the braids in his hair. And then the tweet comes out from the NIL agent, and then that's where it kind of spiraled from there. So I'm going to put the tweet up on the screen here, Jay, but you can take it kind of any direction that you want to go because I've got numerous issues with the tweet itself.
I agree with you. I mean, you can see here that the tweet basically poses a threat saying that if people don't support the Boise State Collective, that the transfer portal is still open and that you never know who is being poached by Power 5 programs. Well, I'll go back to the top of this really quick, too, because I don't want to forget to address this. Right now, the Boise media should be pushing for local businesses and boosters to support the BSU Collective. Well, I'm sorry, good sir, but it is not our responsibility to do that. It is not. We tell stories. We talk to athletes. We request to talk to athletes, and oftentimes those requests aren't necessarily answered the way we want them to be, right?
Fulfilled, granted, however you want.
Exactly. So
I did before you go any further, I did have a quick yes, I agree with you on that. I mean, do we want to see Taylor Green and these athletes do well? Yes. Do we want to see them get paid? Yes. But it is absolutely zero part of our job to be quote pushing for companies to give them money. That is actually the job of the gentleman that is putting this tweet together.
So that's why I just have a big problem with that. Like that's your job. That's not our job. We try to cover stories and tell stories about these athletes, and if anything, help us get better access to do that, because that is our job. But it's not our job to be quote unquote agents, basically. And I think the unfortunate thing about this too is that like the spirit of this was trying to help the NIL movement, kind of like in a good natured way of doing it. And so that's unfortunate. I mean, the way that this grows and gets talked about and the way that athletes benefit from this is if this becomes common knowledge, right? But I also think the best way to do business is not threatening. I mean, right? Like how is that? I don't know how that's the best way to do business. So,
well, if you look at the bottom left there, he got 142,000 interactions or impressions.
Yeah, and, so maybe on top of it, but not 6 likes.
That might be the biggest ratio in the history of Twitter.
Yeah. So I mean, there's not a lot of people that agree with his stance on that. And
you saw JL Skinner put out a tweet.
I want to bring that up too. Yes, because we haven't heard from Taylor Green, but JL Skinner, who quickly jumped into big brother defense mode,
which he's not afraid to do on numerous topics.
He's not, but he went out and said, and I don't know if JL's talked to Taylor or anything like that, but he went into big bro mode in a hurry and said, let's be clear, this is not Taylor Green. This is not his stance. This is not what he believes in. And so I do think it's worth reiterating that nobody should be mad at Taylor in this case. Nobody should be mad at Taylor. But this was the most talked about athlete in the state for the last 3 months, and even before that, probably, right? So if you can't sell that, whose fault is that? It's not our fault. I mean,
and by the way,
he's been in my newscast almost every night. He's been on my pregame show constantly. And if not him, because we barely had him, people talking about him.
Yeah.
So if that,
and he did get $500 also. The station he was taking a shot at gave him $500 to do an interview 2 weeks ago.
Like what? Like come on now. Like, and so I don't know. I'm trying to be a little reserved as we learn more about the situation and the demands and all that stuff, but it's just not a good look. Like I know that there's already enough stuff going on that the NCAA is not enforcing, and that is just quite frankly just kind of dirty at times, right? And by the way, I'm not saying athletes shouldn't be paid; they should be paid, but there just needs to be like some rules to follow, and then enforce said rules. Like this isn't supposed to be an inducement to go to a university, right? It's supposed to reward athletes for their accomplishments on the field. And it seems like that's what was about to happen when the good gentleman over at KTIK, Johnny and Prater, started this conversation about, hey, maybe if we give this exposure, it's a fun topic to talk about. Maybe somebody says, hey, yeah, we can help out Taylor Green with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the good nature of it. So
I mean, there's a lot of layers. I mean, he didn't talk very much during the season. We didn't get it. I mean, we don't even know. I don't even really think I know Talon Green's personality or anything. So I have no idea if that's the kind of thing that he would say or not say, because we've talked to him 2 times and they were both in formal press conference settings. We haven't had a ton of time to talk to him. You know, Kay Foster says Talon isn't super active on Twitter. I wouldn't expect him to tweet about it. Derek says hyped players can make money through NIL, but there are agents that care about their commission more than the team fit for their client.
Hey, I think that this is also something that it takes work. Like it does. Yep. And there are certain universities that have tons of NIL money, booster money, right? Oklahoma, Texas, they just say, you come here, you get 50 grand out of our collective. I'm sorry, I just don't see that happening at Boise State. I just don't. So if you're an agent, then you have to go out and you have to find a number of things to make that valuable, right? Like you're not going to have the one $50,000 payday that you get 20% commission from, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to find deals and you're going to have to work for it. It is what it is.
And I will say that part of it, that's what's messed up about this, Jay, is a normal player agent like the Ron Slavin or the agent for an actual player for his contracts with the team gets like 6% or whatever it is, 3, 4, 5, 6%. An NIL agent gets 20% somehow. So it's actually more lucrative to be a good NIL agent than it is a player agent. And the NIL agents start manipulating these kids while they're in college and trying to get it. And my understanding is there's been 3 or 4 deals that Talon Green could have had, but this guy may have screwed things up and cost Talon some money throughout the year already. So I don't know what's going on with this guy. We'll see. Yeah. The crazy thing to me is it's been 17 hours, Jay, and the tweet's still up. I don't know if the guy went into the mountains or something and doesn't have a signal, or if he's fine letting this thing ride or what, because you mentioned it being a demand. I mean, you never know who, I don't remember the exact wording. You never know who is being poached by the Power 5 programs. Like that does read as like, hey, start getting my guy some money or he's going to leave. It just doesn't seem like a Boise State type.
I don't know any other way to interpret that. And
he's Ashton Genty's NIL agent too, by the way.
To back up your point too, I don't know exactly what deals came across whose table or anything like that, but I have heard similar things that maybe there was stuff trying to be facilitated, but some there might have been shot down, wasn't receptive. Botched. I don't know. I don't know exactly, but it certainly seems. I'm just going to say this: it certainly seems like there's opportunity out there for Talon Green in the NIL world.
I know a lot of business owners, and I know a lot of folks that would easily give money to him if it was the right situation and the right cause. You would think that maybe he wanted to get through the season, and now kind of is the time, the next couple of months, where some of that happens, but. We'll have to see if that gentleman remains his NIL agent or not. Quickly, Jay, before we get out of here, any thoughts on the transfer portal, the roster? Scott Matlock obviously going, decides to go pro. We might have George Helani coming back. I don't know what you made of I don't know if you got any similar comments as KTIK did from Bush Hamden. I did not get anything about George Helani from Bush Hamden, but Bush Hamden basically told him that all signs are pointing towards George coming back, which frankly would shock me. I don't see any reason why he would come back, and I'm not fully convinced that he is coming back. But the comments from Bush Hamden at least made it seem like there was a decent chance now that George Helani could come back. You have Skinner. Tyreek LaBeouf was actually supposed to come on our show on Tuesday. I told you, oh, no, I got it. Tyreek LaBeouf will be on. I'll be good, because you had some stuff pop up. Yeah. And then he deletes the tweet where he had declared that he was going pro, and then tells me that something came up and he's unable to come on. So I don't know what's going on with Tyreek LaBeouf. The only coach that was not available to the media was the corners coach, DeMario Warren, due to a sickness in the family. So didn't get a chance to ask that to DeMario. But so maybe LaBeouf's gone back, don't know. We know Matlock's gone. We know Skinner's gone. Craven's entered the portal the other day as well. Some other guys. Any just quick thoughts on the roster, the comings and goings of the last 10 days or so? Yeah.
I mean, I actually think we did talk about George a little bit last week, and I was kind of on the side that I wouldn't be surprised if he came back. That being said, he's talented enough to do whatever he wants. Come back, go to NFL. Like, George is a talented guy. At the end of the day, like, if he does come back, right, like we saw him on special teams this year, kick return, punt return, I highly doubt that's the case next year if George comes back. I think that you take those touches off of his plate, you focus on him playing the running back position. That being said, he's had about 530 carries in his college football career spread out over 4 years. Yeah, he could wind up, if you total everything up, he could wind up, and that's including special teams contributions. I figured like he could wind up with 850, 900 career college touches. If they take those away from him, he's only a running back. He has a compliment Ashton Genty. Who knows what Breezy Dubar is going to contribute to the backfield next year? Then all of a sudden, like you think that touch number drops quite a bit, right? And in a good way, I guess. You divvy it out, you keep him fresh. He proves he can play in 12, 13, 14 games like he did for the most part this year. And he winds up with, 200 carries next year, which puts him right about what Jay Ajayi had in terms of his usage when he leaves Boise State. So that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. It's going to be interesting to see this decision that George makes. I was not necessarily given anything on Wednesday that would sway my decision one way or the other compared to what it was previously, thinking there was a chance for him to come back. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he isn't. I definitely thought there was a chance he would come back following the regular season, and we'll see what happens from here. But either way, George is a phenomenal player, and we'll see which way it goes. I went too long on George. I know we're getting a little tight on time. I do want to say
I'm not tight on time. It's you that's tight on time. But
we got a few more minutes, then I got to jam because I got Christmas along with work to do, right? But I will say, like, you look at now what Boise State's done. I think they get in the transfer portal once again to kind of try to round out this recruiting class. I'm not saying they don't take any more high school kids, but I think they try to complement their roster by looking in the transfer portal. I think that left tackle position is one that they probably want to address. And if they move Cade over, then it's right tackle. But I think they need to really look at a tackle. On the defensive side, they got some really young, promising guys on the interior of that defensive line that are growing, right? But Andy Avalos has always said, like, that he wants to balance out classes and all that stuff, right? So it feels like they could probably bring in an older guy, maybe on the interior of a defensive line, also at that edge position. I think maybe an older safety could be a direction that they go. And then, man, I really like a lot of these young linebackers too. But if you are looking to balance things out in terms of class, then maybe you try to. If it depends on DJ Schramm too. If DJ comes back, you're good. If he leaves, then maybe you just want an older guy at that position as well.
And the final thing, Jay, before we let you go, and by the way, I always love the red delayed in the Southwestern Lions. As always, so I've actually got plenty of time now if we want to keep this thing going. But may have to head down and see what time the bar opens here at the hotel. I don't know. Start the holidays a little early. But final thing, we saw Spencer Danielson get the raise. Nice big raise for him. Jabril Frazier named the edge coach. We see the new strength and conditioning coach. Obviously, Bush Hamden. Anything staff-wise you want to touch on?
Boise State's investing. They ponied up to get a coach out of the SEC, and they ponied up to get to keep Spencer Danielson in Boise. And I'm just going to cling on Spencer real quick. A real quick congratulations to Jabril Frazier. I mean, a guy that has just earned it, has had tons of adversity, personal life, player.
I remember interviewing him when he showed up at Boise State, and he was not, or I guess we couldn't talk to him right away, but he couldn't play. He couldn't be part of the team. He had to come to Boise State as a student, and he only could do classes. He had to go work out in the weight room when no other players were around. And at first semester, he was on campus trying to get his grades up, but could not be part of the football team. And he chose Boise State over, I think, a gray shirt offer from like USC. He was a big time hyped guy. And he goes from, not even having the grades to play right away to now being a Division I coach making six figures. It is pretty cool.
I think we're just getting older, BJ, but I look at Jabril and I look back at a conversation like that and waiting on signing day for his NIL to come through and not really knowing what was going on there. I'm proud of the dude. I just am. I don't know if that's a good thing to say or a bad thing to say, but I am honestly very proud of Jabril Frazier and what he's been able to accomplish and where he currently is today as a full-time paid assistant coach at his alma mater, as you said, making six figures. That's a nice little pay increase going from a GA to a full-time gig right before the holidays. So congrats to JL. But getting back to Spencer Danielson really quick. we can safely assume that Spencer Danielson has had a number of looks, right? I think we can safely assume that. At the very least, we know.
I can name a couple schools for sure that I know. I know Stanford for one. I can report that Stanford, and I'm sure you've heard the similar stuff. Stanford definitely was interested in him for defensive coordinator.
On top of that, we also know the one years ago or a couple years ago at Auburn, and that would have it would have probably more than doubled his salary at the time, right? Spencer's been a guy that has stayed very loyal to Boise State through all of this, and so to see him get rewarded is also another very cool thing. And to see Boise State make him the highest paid assistant coach in school history to keep him here, it was well done. It's well deserved, and it shows that the program's moving forward. And I don't know of another coach that is almost moved to tears as often as Spencer is when he talks about his players too. So he's passionate, he cares, and it's good to see.
I said it the other day, but we were walking out at the same time. It was him and Frank Miley and me, and he jokingly turns around and says, "Hey, BJ, you want to buy my lunch?" And I was like, joking about, and I was like, yeah, tell me where. And then literally 45 minutes later, according to the term sheet, he signs the contract for a $100,000 plus raise. He should buy my. I may or may not have reached out and said, who should have been buying lunch? Who at that point? I mean, come on, no, good for him. And now, like you said, Boise State's staff pretty much all that's kind of wrapped up, and everybody can take some time for next week. And Bronco Nation News will take the week off for the most part. We'll have coverage of the basketball game. But, Jay, I got to give away a prize. I'll let you roll, but we got some cool giveaways to give away. Have a Merry Christmas, Jay, and to Camille and the family, and hope it goes well. And we'll reconvene after the first of the year.
Sounds good. Merry Christmas to you, Karen, the kids. Safe travels, brother, and we'll see you on the flip side.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Jay. There he is, Jay Tust, KTVB Sports Director. We got some stuff to give away, so don't go anywhere. We're going to give away the prizes. We're backed up, so we're a little behind on some of the prizes we got to give away. If you're not familiar with what we're doing at Bronco Nation News, bronconationnews.com, we're giving away a private trip for two. Actually, it's not a private trip, but you're on a private jet. You may get to ride with Colin, maybe myself. Who knows? So it's going to be fun. Matt Bauscher's going. You get to hang out with Matt Bauscher and our sponsors, Ridley's Family Markets, Bauscher Real Estate, the Blue and Orange Store, rowpaint.com. We appreciate all of our sponsors. This is the grand prize, the trip for two on the jet, 2 tickets to the game, a one-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino. And this is for anyone that renews their subscription during the month of December or signs up for a new subscription. You still have, 9 days or whatever to jump in, or 8 days to jump in by the 31st. If you're new and want to jump in, you get exclusive recruiting content. We've had interviews with CJ Tiller, Breezy Dubar, Franklin Johnson Jr. in the last week. Those are subscriber-only interviews. We send out kind of regular weekly emails, and we're working to add even more subscriber-only content here moving forward, the BNN After Dark shows. So if you want exclusive content, if you want, the news first, Hank Bachmeier transferring, subscribers got that in their email before anybody else when Hank Bachmeier transferred. We can go down the line with some of the other news that we broke, but our track record speaks for itself. So jump on in, sign up for a subscription, $70 for a 1-year subscription. You can do it after the show, and you'll be entered next week's drawing. The final drawing, I haven't decided if we're doing it on the 31st or the 1st or the 2nd or when, but the final drawing will be not only for the grand prize, but for some other cool prizes as well. Today, we're giving away this Michelob Ultra snowboard. So we've got a Michelob Ultra snowboard that we're giving away as our big item today. We've got some gift cards and things as well. But if you are a snowboarder, or if you know somebody that's a snowboarder, this would be a great gift. I can't get it to you by Christmas. That's the only problem. So you'd have to give it to them in January, or maybe we can, if you do win it, you can reach out to me. We can try to take a picture of it, maybe present it somehow in a card or something to give to somebody for Christmas. But hopefully if you win it, you're a snowboarder and you want it yourself, hopefully. So this is the picture of the snowboard that we're giving away as our main prize today. And as always, we've got our Wheel of Games thing here that we will bring up here onto the screen. I have added the new names into the thing here, and we are up to 340 names. So we're up to 340 names. So we added another 40 or 50 from the last time we did this. And again, we're going to pick a name or an email for this snowboard, and then I've got some Blue and Orange Store gift cards, and then we're actually going to save a couple of the bigger items. We've got a painting for a day, $600 painting for a day from Row Paint. We've got a Budweiser kind of condensed cooler. We've got a golf bag. We're going to do a big mega final show where we announce all these winners and do big prizes and thank everybody when we do the grand prize as well. So we're going to do a couple $25 gift cards today to the Blue and Orange store. We're going to do a couple rounds of golf at Timberstone, but we're going to start with the chair here. So first of all, appreciate everybody that's signed up. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for being a subscriber of BNN in the last month. And again, we're at 340, so that shows that we had a great month, and the contest has been great to this point. So hopefully you're signing up for the because you like the content, not just for the prize. But we do want to thank everybody for what they've done to support Bronco Nation News. Very appreciative of what everybody has done for Bronco Nation News to help us renew the subscriptions, sign up for new ones for year 2. So I'm happy to give away some prizes. We got more ideas on things in the future. But the snowboard winner, the email of the winner of the snowboard is going to be dcjackscoach, dcjackscoach@gmail.com. You are the winner of the snowboard. I will reach out to you via email, and we will get that to you. dcjackscoach@gmail. I'm writing it down so I can send them an email after the show. We've got a couple other prizes to give away today as well. $25 gift card to the Blue and Orange store. We'll start that up. $25. We got a couple of these we'll give away. Get some new Boise State gear. Let's give away $25 to the Blue and Orange store, and that is going to go to Cool H and Harrington at Gmail. Cool H and Harrington, or H&H Harrington at gmail.com. Okay, you're going to get a gift card. We'll do another $25 gift card as well. And again, $70 for a full year. 365 days of coverage. It's $1.35 a week. So sign up now. $1.35 a week. Less than a cup of coffee. Gets you exclusive access and regular drawings and things like this. $25 to the Blue and Orange store. athildebrandt at gmail.com. You are a winner. We'll give away one more. So 3 $25 gift cards to the Blue and Orange store on this episode. So here's one more. This is for a $25 gift card to the Blue and Orange store. And again, 337 names now because we took out the 3 winners. But this is all renewals. Hey, how about that? Mr. Cardona. He's got a son on the team, and he's now getting $25 to the Blue and Orange store. How about that? Michael Cardona, 873. Appreciate him. He's got an offensive lineman son on the team, so that's pretty cool. Congratulations to Mr. Cardona, and I'll be in touch with him on the gift card. Let's give away a round of golf. Timberstone Golf Course. You want a round of golf at Timberstone Golf Course. We're now drawing for that. And again, the winner, we appreciate everybody. We'll get these to you. I'm actually not going to be back in Boise for about a week, so I'll have to mail you these when I get back. But we'll be in touch. Thomas.Maguira, Muguira @gmail.com is the winner. Thomas Maguira @gmail.com. Let's do one more round of golf at Timberstone Golf Course. The 6th prize we're giving away to subscribers here. If you're a golfer, you want a free round of golf, hopefully we can take care of you here at from Timberstone Golf Course. And again, next week we're going to have a collapsible Bud Light cooler for tailgating. We're going to have a painter for a day from rowpaint.com. I got a Michelob Ultra golf bag. 57 Bronc @gmail.com. You're going to Timberstone Golf Course with a free round of golf. So appreciate everybody for checking us out. If you're a subscriber, truly appreciate it. Hope you're finding value in your subscription. And again, we're all gearing up for the final drawing, which will be coming up next week, either on the 31st or the 1st or the 2nd. I got to figure out a popular time when everybody can watch it. Maybe we do it right as the ball hits midnight. I don't know. But we will be giving away the trip for 2. As I mentioned, we got a golf bag from Michelob Ultra. We got a really cool kind of camping, collapsible tailgating cooler for all your stuff, or wagon for all your stuff. And then we got some other things to give away as well. So we'll have kind of a grand finale contest winner. And if you're not in, jump on in. We'd love to have you. $70 for a full year, $1.35 a week, as I said, and you get access to all the exclusive recruiting content. Some of these daily shows may be going behind the paywall as well. I'm working on that. So it's going to pay to be a subscriber, and we appreciate it. It allows us to be at the basketball game at Santa Clara yesterday. We'll be the only media outlet traveling to Reno for the basketball game next week. So we're at every home and road basketball and football game, bringing you pregame, postgame coverage, and obviously breaking news throughout the rest of the weeks as well. So truly want to the subscription is a steal. Thanks for all the coverage. Bob Barker needs to spin the wheel. Yeah, that would be nice. This will be the final show of 2022. I'm giving all the co-hosts next week off, so no shows next week in the morning. Hope everybody has a great holidays. And then another programming note, I am sending Colin Mitchell to Reno. It'll be the first time he's covered a basketball game by himself on the road because, in part, maybe I should just switch hats here. I am going down to the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee, to see my Kansas Jayhawks be in their first bowl game in 14 years. So my wife and I are going down to Memphis. I'm going to go to the Liberty Bowl and Rock Chalk Jayhawk, and that's the same day as the Reno games. I'm going to let Colin do the Reno game, and then he'll do the pre and post game from Reno. And then I will be back in Boise on the 1st. The main reason is because my wife and kids are moving back to Boise. They've been in St. Louis for 7 months doing a traveling nursing assignment, and my kids and wife are flying back on the 1st. And they have 7 months worth of luggage and a 5 and 7 year old. So I didn't want to make my wife have to fly back by herself. So I'll be helping get the family back to, no, it's football, the Liberty Bowl, Arkansas, Kansas, Liberty Bowl on the 28th. It is football. Yes, we are the defending national champs in basketball, but yes, Kansas actually made a bowl game this year and I will be attending it. But the really big reason, the main reason we scheduled the bowl game after that we saw this, but the main reason is don't want my wife having to fly back to Boise on New Year's with 7 months of luggage for her and 2 kids and a 5 and 7 year old. So going to help move the family back to Boise. Going to take some family time next week. And then we'll have Colin Mitchell in Reno. So be on the look for the pregame show. Obviously something big will probably break and I'll have to come back in with a show or a story. But the plan, if nothing happens, is to take the week off. And then, as I said, Colin Mitchell will have you covered with basketball coverage in Reno next week on Wednesday. Big game. So, I'll keep you updated on the NIL agent. We'll see what's going on there. I like it, Guy. Rock Chalk. There you go. Sky, appreciate it. Kurt, thank you. So, Merry Christmas. And it's been a heck of a year for Bronco Nation News. Appreciate everybody that's been with us. It's hard to believe we already hit another calendar year in the books here. And again, we'll have the giveaway coming up. So keep subscribing, keep signing up, and we'll give away that trip for 2. I'll make sure it's very clear when we're going to do it, somewhere around New Year's. If anybody has a good idea on a time to do it or a day, let me know. I guess we could do it on the 2nd or 3rd when we come back, but the game is on the 10th. So I want to make sure we give enough time for the winner. And just as a heads up, you're going to be leaving early afternoon. You'll get down there in time for dinner, and then you'll come back the next morning. So you're probably going to need to take a half day off work on the game day in the afternoon, and then a half day in the morning the next day. So hopefully people are able to swing that. And then obviously you have to live in the Boise area as well. So going to go see how delayed my flight is. Looks like we're still about an hour delayed. We'll keep our fingers crossed it doesn't get any worse with the bad weather in the Midwest there. So hope everybody's able to see their families and head home for the holidays or be with family and friends. And we all have a lot to be grateful and thankful for. And it starts with our family. So I'm very grateful for my wife and kids and my parents for helping watch the kids all these last several months, and my brother and my in-laws and everybody in my family, my extended family. So it's been a great year for myself, been a great year for Bronco Nation News, and excited to put a bow on 2022, and we'll turn the page. Conference play is going to be fun. Hopefully another fun ride for the basketball team here in 2023. And then obviously you'll have spring football starting up before you know it, and then we'll be right back into next season with football. So a lot going on, and we will have it all covered for you at BroncoNationNews.com, but probably not for the next week or so as we take a little time off, unless there is news that's big enough that warrants us getting back on a show or writing a story, whatever. So stay tuned. Next Wednesday, Colin Mitchell. Next Wednesday in Reno, we'll have full coverage on the pregame show. Make sure you're checking out Bronco Nation News. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel down at the bottom of the screen. And we appreciate you. Have a great Christmas, great holidays. Thank you, everybody. Love you. And we'll talk to you soon. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.